Sister Mary Kenneth Keller, the first woman to receive a PhD in computer science in the USA, 1965. In 1918, Frances Griffiths and her cousin photographed what they claimed were real fairies and became famous overnight. It wasn't until 1983 that it was revealed this was the world's very first major hoax. Dice made of human bones found during a search of the home of Ed Gein, American serial killer, necrophile, and body snatcher. He is one of the most notorious serial killers in U.S. history. A century-old advertisement claimed that heroin kept your head always clear and fresh. Siamese Royal Guard, Thailand, late 19th century. A masquerade ball, Ball of the Illuminati, hosted by the Rothschilds in 1972. Vietnamese child and his father accused of aiding North Vietnamese partisans, 1966. Their fate remains unknown. 80 years ago, members of the White House press corps rushed to telephones after Truman announced Japan's surrender, August 14, 1945. A cigarette butt collector, Paris, 1905. Annual canal cleaning in Amsterdam, 1963. Over 20,000 bikes still end up in the canals every year. The 2,000-yard stare, Vietnam, 1966. Pilot Victor Vizcarra evacuated from a jungle landing site after parachuting and witnessing his plane crash into a mountain. During Prohibition, the Chicago police dumped tons of corn whiskey after raiding an illegal distillery. A prisoner at the Dachau concentration camp during a medical experiment, 1943. Making masks for French soldiers, veterans of the First World War with disfigured faces, 1918. British and Italian forces clashed in Egypt during W-Twice, 1940. The Italians won this battle, stabilizing the front for 3 months. A hungry boy standing for hours in an endless line for rice, China, 1948. In 2010, Randy Guajaro bought an 1878 photograph for $2 that showed Billy the Kid and his gang. It turned out to be one of 2 confirmed photos and is valued at $5 million. The pioneer of the automobile radio was Alfred Greb, who had to install a large antenna shaped like a clothes dryer on the bumpers around 1919. The window of a rodent extermination business. They say they're still in business. Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet seated next to Imelda Marcos, wife of Filipino dictator Ferdinand Marcos, at the funeral of Spanish dictator Francisco Franco, 1975. A chimpanzee astronaut receives an apple after the first successful spaceflight, USA, 1961. Future Cuban revolutionary leader Fidel Castro in Central Park, New York, USA, 1955. In 1932, a terrible famine occurred in the USSR, taking up to 7 million lives. This was hidden from foreigners with shows of full store shelves, and the 1937 census was classified. This is how Japanese streets were watered 100 years ago. A beggar runs after the carriage of British King George V, 1920. Poverty drives the man so much that he competes with the royal horses in speed. Manchester United footballer Eric Cantona attacks a Crystal Palace fan, 1995. Men stand in line at the unemployment office hoping to get any work during the Great Depression, 1930. Citizens photograph the body of famous criminal bank robber John Dillinger, displayed in the morgue for public viewing, USA, 1934. Incredibly powerful earthquake in Alaska, magnitude 9.2, 1964. Eyes that saw the nuclear explosion, Japan, Hiroshima, 1945. A three-wheeled timber truck from the early 1900s. In those days, hard labor literally meant hard labor. Designers Stoner and Kalashnikov pose with each other's weapons. USA, 1990. The Guinness World Record for childbirth belongs to a Russian peasant woman living 200 years ago. Fyodor Vasiliev's wife gave birth 69 children in 27 pregnancies. She had twins 16 times, triplets 7 times, and quadruplets 4 times. During the filming of Fort Apache, many scenes required specific weather conditions, and director John Ford paid a Navajo medicine man to give him weather forecasts. Several days they were accurate, but one day the medicine man said he couldn't predict anymore. When asked why, he said that an actor had taken his radio receiver. Even back then, there were topless technologies. 1910. A resident of Ohio demonstrates a car of his own design. USA. Stuntman Todd Green flies toward death, falling from an airplane wing. He was performing a complex stunt, transferring from the wing of an airplane to a helicopter during an air show near Detroit, USA, 2011. Captain Paul Tibbets just before taking off, during which the bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, 1945. The photo shows Vincenzo Peruggia, who stole the Mona Lisa on August 21, 1911. Just listen to how easily he did it. He entered the Louvre, where there was neither security nor visitors, took the painting, removed it from its frame, and walked out. The trial of the military junta that staged a coup in 1976 and plunged the country into a military dictatorship until 1983, Argentina. The graves of a Catholic woman and her Protestant husband, separated by a wall. After death, the community did not allow them to be buried in the same cemetery. Netherlands, 1888. School children of Russia awakened by alarm. The photo was taken in 1937. An emaciated former prisoner of Buchenwald concentration camp drinks from a metal bowl shortly after the camp's liberation. April 1945. The wedding of oil magnate Howard Marshall II and American supermodel Anna Nicole Smith, 1994. Victorian baby bottle meant to simplify breastfeeding. Impossible to clean properly, it caused a rise in infant deaths and earned the nickname murder bottle. 28-year-old Jenny Joseph posing for the Columbia Pictures logo, 1992. In this touching photo from 1945, a little girl from France kisses an American soldier on the cheek on Valentine's Day. In my opinion, the photograph with the American soldier is quite ambiguous. If we recall that more than half of the civilian casualties in France during World War II were the result of American and British bombings. When boredom strikes at the front, soldiers have to improvise. Here, French troops dressed as women entertain their fellow comrades along the Maginot Line, 1940. People pose on a dead whale covered in graffiti, California, 1919. Division of family property in a courtroom, USA, 1999. A giant Ferris wheel at the World's Fair in Chicago, 1893, USA. August 17, 1896 saw the first recorded pedestrian accident in the world. This marked the beginning of fatal traffic accidents. Passengers boarding the Titanic, 1912. Stars of the 90s then and now. Time cannot be stopped. A Croatian soldier saying goodbye to a girl, 1995. It was their last meeting. An Iraqi family fleeing the war, Iraq, 2003. For 2,000 years, the people of Sagada in the Philippines have avoided burying their dead. Instead, they hang coffins high on cliffs, believing that the higher the body is placed, the closer the soul is to heaven. Chinese justice. A man is publicly flogged for breaking the law. 1900. A glimpse into historic public punishment systems. Samurai in front of the Sphinx, Egypt, 1864. After the death of Abraham Lincoln, he was reburied 17 times due to repairs and security threats, with the coffin being opened 6 times. He finally found peace only in 1901. A woman with a portrait of her son greets the last train with former German prisoners of war from the USSR, 1955. In Italy, pasta was once considered street food. In 1908, like all good street food, it was consumed not with a fork, but directly with bare hands. Mass initiation ceremony into the Ku Klux Klan, 1946. Although the organization was banned in 1871, it exists to this day. Slaves in chains, Zanzibar, 1865. King Olaf V of Norway presents his ticket to the conductor, 1973. The king traveled without security and said he had 4 million bodyguards, referring to the number of Norwegians in the country at the time. Posing in the style of the Headless Horseman, 1920s. The times when there was no internet. A eunuch guarding a harem, Tunisia, 1931. Zolas in their car, South Africa, 1903. A family portrait, a mother with her son, and instead of the father who died on the front lines of WWI, his greatcoat, Great Britain, 1926. An American destroyer escorts a Soviet freighter carrying missiles from Cuba after the Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962. Rock carvings by Australian Aborigines estimated to be about 40,000 years old. Sophia Loren in her natural beauty, around 1955. Panic swept the crowd during Liverpool's match against Nottingham in 1989. 96 people died and 766 were injured. To this day, it remains the worst disaster in football history. Baby races, New Jersey, 1955. The attack on the Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, 1987. During Gandhi's official visit to Sri Lanka, one of the soldiers in the honor guard struck him with his rifle butt. A black woman protects a racist from an angry mob, 1996. Martin Cooper from Motorola made the world's first mobile call. He called Joel S. Engel, a competitor from Bell Labs, 1973. A parade of the German-American alliance in support of Hitler in New York, 1939. A soldier's return home, Vienna, Austria, 1946. One of the first home vacuum cleaners, Siemens Elmo, 1906. Mike Tyson in glamorous pink handcuffs goes to prison for drug possession and drunk driving, 2008. The contents of a Viking tool chest dropped over 1,000 years ago in Lake Mestermere on Gotland Island. The chest was recovered in 1936. Scottish physicist Robert Watson Watt was once stopped by a police officer for speeding, after which he said, "If I had known what you would do with it, I would never have invented radar." 5-year-old Lena Medina, the youngest mother in the world, holding her baby shortly after birth. Peru, 1939. Titanic survivors Marjorie and Charlotte Collier in New York, 1912. The longest coma lasted 42 years. An American woman who became known for spending almost half a century in a coma, Eduarda Obera. UK, 1943. A proud member of the Women's Corps shows off her new tattoo, a symbol of rebellion and style. In 19th century Europe, a wife could be sent to a psychiatric hospital for treatment of hysteria for the following reasons. If a woman argues with her husband and has a different opinion, if a woman reads a lot, if a woman is dissatisfied with her marriage, if a woman refuses her husband, if a woman is deeply interested in science, if a woman doesn't want to have children. Thousands of Union and Confederate Civil War veterans shake hands to honor the fallen and promote reconciliation between former enemies. USA, 1913. 1918. A subway train derailed in New York and crashed into a wall. About 100 people died. Subway drivers were on strike that day, and an inexperienced worker was put in charge of the train, exceeding the speed limit fivefold on a curve. Alcoholism treatment using the latest method with huge doses of castor oil. Russia, 1916. In the 19th century, many people feared being buried alive. Until 1934, some companies produced special safety coffins equipped with means for rescue. An American cartoon from 1964, Russia and China dig a grave for the USA. A photo of the seemingly kind family man Heinrich Himmler with his family from his photo album, but he was a Nazi, 1936. 1990's mugshot of corrupt LAPD officer Rafael Perez linked to the bloods, drug theft, shootings, and the murder of the notorious B.I.G. inspired Denzel Washington's Training Day character. This Japanese soldier lay for 36 hours with a grenade in his hand, pretending to be dead. After promising not to resist, an American offers him a cigarette. An Aboriginal man photographs his tribesmen on the northern coast of Queensland, Australia, 1929. No dog biscuits today. London, 1942. A newspaper seller selling the latest edition, 1939. Darwin made lists of pros and cons for marriage before his wedding. The pros list included constant companion and better than a dog. The cons list included having to visit relatives and less money to buy books. Sparked a reaction. Whether good or bad, I'd love to read your comments below. Get ready for the next installment very soon. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Catch you later.